Hello there, friends, and welcome back to Strangers in the Night, your late night source for VR gaming talk. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Eric.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Eric? And my good friend Roots. Roots, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good, except for the fact that I just pulled up a second stream. I don't need all sorts of technical issues, but hey, we're good. We're here. We made it. We did it.
We did it!
I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about the games that we have. There was three good games, right? Like Mash just eloquently said right before the show started. It's like picking a favorite. Would you say a gem out of a diamond out of a bunch of rubies?
A ruby out of a handful of diamonds.
Yeah, it's like which one is your favorite, and we're trying to decide which of our favorite is our favorite kids as well. But that's a different discussion we can't tell anybody about.
Well, it certainly is. It's been a good couple of months, right, for VR game releases, and all these people that keep going on about we need content. We don't need new headsets. We need content. I don't know what planet these guys are living on, man. I got more content than I know what to deal with. I think what they mean by that is that we need more known IPs. Now, I could agree with that, but there are a lot of original IPs in VR, and more games coming out every week. More than I can handle, man. Like I want to play so much more than I actually have time to play, and that's a pretty good problem to have.
Yeah, well, you know what's cool is you've been streaming on Tuesday nights, and so you've been getting a lot more gameplay in of games you want to play. And the best part about it is the community gets a choice in picking those games, right? So, like, if you haven't been there on Tuesday nights streams, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. And I'm speaking to you, Roots. Where the fuck are you been, bro? I don't know. I didn't even know what was going on. I fell asleep, and then I had people telling me it was amazing, and there was commentating and all sorts of stuff. I'm assuming Mash jumped in the thing, or not commentating, but was it somebody jumped in to read the chat for you or something, Wes?
No, well, we talked about maybe doing that next week
Oh,
or the week
okay.
after. Um, but anytime that I'm on like a PlayStation or a Oculus Quest live stream, I'm basically trying to read the chat off my phone in between like
Mm,
sequences in the game, which is a bit, disruptive. And not only that, I miss a lot. For example, I want to take a moment to thank my sister for her donation that she left last night. I completely missed it. I didn't even see it because I was in
what?
VR when it went down. So a lot of stuff goes on like that. I'll notice people have come to the chat and left before I've even noticed that they were there.
Mm,
Like it's tough, man, when you're not in PC and you can't put the chat in the headset with you. It's tough to keep up with. So Eric volunteered. He said,
mm. You
if
got
I
to be
can
there
manage to
anyway,
start
right?
a yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He said if I can manage to start a little bit earlier, 30 minutes an hour earlier, that would be able to go on screen and be kind of the chat moderator in the vein of some of the other content that we've produced recently.
That's cool. That's actually a good idea because that is one of the frustrating things. And I know a lot of content creators, including Zimtalk, will say, "Hey, we'll just put the audio where it reads the chat," and I mean, it's kind of cool. I guess you can put an M in front of it and then it allows it to read it. But like I said, if you're in a flow of talking and then somebody puts a chat in, it will get loud. It interrupts you. And I don't like to be interrupted in the middle of gameplay. It kind of pisses me off. So for me, it's not a good idea. I nixed that very fast. But a lot of people say that's a good option, I guess.
Yeah, it would ruin the game for me if I had like a text to chat thing in my ear. It's not like sitting and having a conversation with you or with Masher and having you guys kind of selectively give me a comment here and there. To have every word of everything everyone says in my ear while I'm trying to play a game, it would get frustrating quickly. And then I really would. I mean, if we're not having fun, then what's the point, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Dark Angel says F the top chat. And I thank you, Dark Angel. I don't know. I
Me too.
literally know I switched it and it's back to top chat. I know we need to get to
Yeah.
to
I had to fix it
YouTube.
too.
We need
I
to
had to
go to
fix it.
YouTube and have them fix that because that's a problem. And we need to have what I heard you saying that whole conversation, Wes, is Zuckerberg or Meta. Somebody there needs to put chat from streams in the headset. It's becoming an issue for people, for content creators.
Oh, yeah,
And
and look at Wes. He's in trouble for Thanksgiving. His sister's gonna be all pissed off at him.
what the hell? No, Ashley's very
Ashley's
reasonable.
Ashley's gonna be throwing drumsticks and potatoes at him over the table.
You don't know that happens at his house on Thanksgiving anyway, as
That's
far as
true.
we know, right?
That's true.
Yeah, we do shit different, man. We don't even eat at the table most of the time. We bring it in the living room and eat it.
That's the way I say, eat comfortable and just spend time with your family. That's what Thanksgiving is about, right? Or
Yeah,
or
that's
they're
kind of
calling
the
it
idea.
they're calling it sidesgiving, I guess, because people can't afford a main turkey or something. I don't know. Some weird rumors out there.
Yeah. Yesterday we had turkey, or not. I don't mean yesterday, but yesteryear we had our turkey and duckling or baked ham, and in 2021 we have the impossible turkey,
Oh,
Tofu turkey.
ew,
tofu turkey,
I want-
Tofurkey.
I want real turkey.
Yeah,
Please.
who does?
for real. I like my food to taste good.
I like it to be
That's just
real.
me.
That's my thing, dude. Like, I don't want synthetic meat, or any of that stuff. It's so weird. People flock to that. They're like, "Oh, let's go get the Impossible Burger," and I'm like, "Okay, well, what is it?" They have no idea. It's just weird to me.
They don't know what it is. They just know what it's not. And
Yeah, it's
that's
not a
good enough
burger.
for them.
Yeah, that's right.
But hey, man, to each their own.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I'm not making them eat burgers. As long as they don't make me eat their soy or whatever it is, then we'll get along just fine.
What about bugs? Would you eat bugs? Because it seems like they want us to push to that direction too, right?
Well, you roots can kill them. We can eat them.
Yeah, I could send you some glue boards with some bugs on there if you want.
Oh yeah, there we go. Sounds so good.
Yeah.
Forget about the turkey. Send me the clue boards.
Anyway, guys, 3 great games that we played this week. I'm not going to say review. I always have to catch myself from saying review because it's very rare that we actually do a full review of a game that we have finished. We typically give impressions, and most of the time, you don't need to play a whole game to tell whether or not it's good or not. But we're really upfront about that. If we feel like we should have played more, and actually, one of the titles today, I really wish that I had played more, and I'll be upfront about that when the time comes. But you know, I'm glad. I'm glad we do it the way we do it. And what I mean by that is it's starting to become a thing now. Well, it's always been a thing with the other content creators on YouTube, where they always rush to get the content out first, right? To kind of say the first word and to have the last word first, rather, on launch day. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but typically there's a disconnect between what our experience is in these games and what their experience is in these games. Sometimes people say things about these games that don't accurately reflect my experience or your guys. And I think I know what it is. And typically, you'll notice, and as I did today, that if you wait a day and boot the game up, there's a fairly substantial update for everything. Like Resist had a big update. Tempestfall had a huge update. I'm not sure about Medal of Honor, but if I had to bet, I'd say it had one too. And I think that waiting a day or two after launch to play a game really is a more accurate representation of what the game is than playing it a week before it comes out. And I think that would very much explain kind of the differences in the way we feel about games versus some of these other channels. Am I making any sense here, Roots?
Yeah, I think you're making a lot of sense because I mean, sometimes we'll wait even a week. Everybody and people just rush out. They want to get in there and take their quick look. Well, maybe I guess some people, and then dip out. And I would agree. I think there's going to be a lot of jank in that first day or two, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
how common are day one patches now? Almost every game that
Yeah.
launches now has a day one patch. So it's happening with pretty much every game. So yeah, I mean, I would give me a day. Let me give it a day. Give it 2 days. Like you said, give it a week. Because that
Yeah.
experience is going to be can be drastically different from the first experience. Almost like playing going from a beta to the launch day title.
But if you're not first,
Yeah, I
you're
was
last, Smash.
That's true.
yeah, I was watching a review for one of the titles that we're going to cover here tonight, and it was not just one; it was a couple of reviews, honestly. And these were early reviews. Obviously, people who played and produced these well-produced review videos before the game launched, and they were talking about bugginess and various bugs that they encountered when they played. I didn't have this experience, and that's where what really got me thinking about it was how could these guys? I mean, I know that I have a nice computer, but I'm sure they do too. Like it has to be something else. And then that's when it occurred to me that this specific game had a 6 GB update before I played it today.
Mm.
So that it kind of says it all, right? It kind of says that maybe it isn't always the best thing to produce your definitive word on a game before the game is even launched, and that's really all I wanted to say with that.
Yeah, or at least throw in the caveat as you're discussing all the bugs that hey, then maybe they'll hopefully the get you can say the good things. I don't know. I didn't see the review, but if you're only focusing on the bugs and it's pre-release, that may be something they iron out, like you said, in a day or two.
Typically, it is right, especially
Hmm.
when you're dealing with uh, developers. Like, I mean, think about the lineup that we're dealing with today, guys. We've got we've got the Binary Mill, which always does high quality work. We've got Respawn Entertainment, which is a AAA game studio, and then we have Carbon Studio, among the best in VR. So, I mean, if you're going to criticize any of these guys for having a buggy pre-release, I mean, you might want to think twice because you know that day one patch is coming. You can you can bet on it. It's that sure when you deal with studios like the ones that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
for sure.
it's unfair too because a lot of time these guys, just like us, we're getting these games 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the finished product is coming out. So I mean, I know that most of the time when I'm playing these games, I'm not playing the day one product. I'm playing a 3 week before product. So I think it's unfair if you're going to play a game early to review it and then talk about things that you most likely are going to be fixed, small buggy issues.
Now,
If it's a game breaking issue, or if it's a game style problem, that's fine. But if you're talking about little glitches here or there, it's almost unfair, and it's a double edged sword for these developers. They need to get the content creators these games so they can cover them day one, launch time. They want to drop videos, so they have to give it to them. But I can see where there's a lot of times they probably don't want to.
with that said, I'd be really curious to know why we're dropping 6 GB updates on day one. Like these studios, you would think instead of having a laundry list of shit that they fixed, a day after launch, why not fix this shit, putting out smaller updates throughout the process so that us as content creators and reviewers have a product that is more accurately representative of the consumer version when it hits the market. I don't want to sound like I'm being too hard on the content creators. The studios are at fault here as well for waiting so long to fix this stuff. But with that said, I'm just a layman. There could be a technical reason why they wait. It might be easier for them to implement all this stuff all at once for some reason that's beyond my understanding. But with that said, I certainly do not understand why this has become standard practice in our space.
Well, that's the thing. It's this particular instance. Who knows? As a standard, as something we've gotten used to, yeah, it's unacceptable. Wolveraza nailed it. Not exactly what he's saying, which is kind of, I guess it could be a good idea. Creators, I don't want to technically fix their bugs as a creator just to, to play the game. But maybe do a beta or two. Have some game testing. This is the thing. I would imagine there's a lot of money maybe to be saved, or I don't know. What's the reason why you would skip a couple betas or game testing? Because some of these games come out and it's like they didn't even test it. You know what I mean? And it's so buggy. And none of these three, obviously, but I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. I just think it's out there and they need to fix it.
Yeah. Anyway, with that said, we got a lot to talk about here. I don't want to dilly-dally too long, so let's kick it off the way we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. Guys, you're going to be happy. You're going to be happy that you're catching the show live tonight, Scion. I wait until the game has been out for years, but I'm a slacker. Yeah, I guess that's true. I
Slacker.
mean, waiting for years. I mean, not the slacker part. But
Mhm.
Wolveraza says creators getting early access should be used as beta testers to fix issues prior to launch. I agree with that to some extent, but I also can say that maybe content creators aren't the best with giving these developers feedback. Not everybody's gamertag VR trying to actively make these games as good as he can. A lot of us, and that's myself included, probably could take a page out of that guy's book.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't want to fix that. Like that's what I was saying. I don't want to fix the game. I just want to play it and give my opinion on it. Right?
there's certain things that you shouldn't have to report, like if the frame rate isn't solid, they should know to fix that. Everybody by now should know that smooth turning should be an option. Full locomotion should be an option. There are certain things that they shouldn't have to play test to know, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Radio Runt is joining us tonight, as is Diz the Game Cat. What's up? Hey Mepper, how's it going, brother? Alex VR, good evening, sir. Thanks for joining us. Lamplighter, what's up, man? He says I need real turkey. Yeah, we all like real turkey. Uh,
Yeah.
Ashley, what's up, sis? Thanks again for the donation last night. Dark Angel, thanks for showing up as you typically do with our late night streams. I do think we're going to try to push them forward a little bit going ahead, like we have for this show. Try to get it in before the midnight hour to when we can. Um, let's see who else is up in there. Lee VR, hello. Rob S in the chat as well. Wifey, I see, left a comment up toward the top, and think there's Spry Guy. So that's the
That's
that's
when
the
you know
very
your
top.
cap is. Spry
No,
guys there,
but
you know your cap's done.
Roots, we had pretty good turnout last night, man. Hey, what's up, Daniel Kaz? What's up, Acid X? Thanks for coming by, guys. It was still, I mean, I went on maybe 15 or 20 minutes earlier than normal, but it was still almost 1 a.m. before I started last night, and we had over 20 for uh, a good amount of the 4 hour long stream. So I think that the Tuesday night thing, hopefully, starting to catch on a little bit, and people are starting to expect it.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, that's the biggest thing about streaming is consistency. They
Yeah.
say anyway.
Well, as is the case with everything that we're doing on this channel, I'm doing my best, to stay committed to it and to get better. Right? We always want to get better. It's kind of the thing that has defined us up until this point, and something that we all strive to do, perpetually going forward.
Ah, well, I agree.
Yeah, 100%.
D-Rail says to say your prayers and take your vitamins, brother.
Little Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Anyway, why don't we get into some gameplay? Roots, as quickly as you told me what the order was for today, I forgot. Do we Medal of Honor first? Am I
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. This game came to Steam late last year to a chorus of negative reviews, uh, basically all revolving around the continuity of the game. Uh, a lot of people were upset by the structure of the game, not only by the amount of cutscenes that are strewn throughout the chapters, but I mean at that point there was there were a lot of these victory screens. Anytime that you accomplished any small menial task in the game, the thing would stop. you'd come into another screen and it would say victory. Very immersion breaking, very legitimate criticism of this game at the time. Also, at the time, people were asking the question that people always ask: do you expect this game will be released on Quest? And they said, we'll see what we can do. If we can make it work on Quest, we'll bring it to Quest. But it's not something I would expect. And we all kind of took that as the last word on it. Well, fast forward a year, here we are, and it is an Oculus Quest 2 exclusive, meaning it won't run on Oculus Quest 1, but they have managed to launch this thing for the Oculus Quest 2. They're also bringing out a Rift version. Actually, I think the Rift version was already out, but it is cross buy. It is $20 less. You know, it was a $60 game. Now it's a $40 game, and the big question going into this? Well, there's two big questions. One, have they learned their lessons? Are they going to release a more polished and immersive product on the Quest 2 store than they did on Steam a year ago? And two, will the influx of all these new Oculus Quest gamers actually make the multiplayer a viable mode for this? Which, you know, going into the Steam release was one of the biggest one of the biggest most highly anticipated things about the game was the multiplayer. So I'm going to start with you, Eric, because I know that unlike me, you did try the multiplayer this week on the Quest 2. What did you think about it, first of all? And second of all, do you think that this is something that's going to possibly catch on and keep lobbies full for months to come?
I do. I do 100%. I got in there today, and for the first time, I played it, on PC, but I got in today for the first time and tried it on, on the Quest 2 multiplayer, and I was shocked. I mean, I got into three different lobbies, three different games. Jump back out each time, so I wasn't with the same people because I wanted to test it to see how quick I could get in, and I had full lobbies, bam, bam, right away. So I was jumping into gameplay right away. So I'm joining full lobbies as they're starting games. So I had no wait. There was no, me sitting somewhere waiting for somebody to fill. I was jumping into full gameplay every time I started. Now it was prime time, so I don't know if you get like at 3 in the morning, it's going to be different. But it was, it was like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. But I expect it with the amount of headsets that we have out there in the Quest 2, with the amount of people that want to play these types of games. The I think in the price tag of this being $40 instead of $60, the gameplay is here. It always was here, even for the PC. People always said we love the gameplay, we love the multiplayer gameplay on the PC, but there's nobody playing it. That's the problem. And so the multiplayer is really really good here. All the game modes are good. All the maps are good. It's
How
just
many
people.
modes? How many maps?
I want to say I think there's 4 or 5 different modes, and I don't know how many maps. I played 3 different maps. I played a sub map. I played like a Parisian town, and then I played like a bunker kind of a map. So I don't know how many there are total. Like I said, I only did 3 of them. So
How does this stack up? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Corporate Zombie wants to know if the multiplayer is crossplay between Steam and Quest.
I don't think so.
no, it's not.
Yeah, I think that the multiplayer is uh, platform exclusive, no matter what platform that you're playing on.
Which is
Uh,
unfortunate. Yeah.
yeah,
Crazy, dude.
yeah, it is, and it can always change in the future, right? Like if
Yeah.
uh, up until now, it's kind of been a dead thing. So why would they do all the work ahead of time to make this a multi-platform thing when they don't know for sure that people are going to buy in? So I guarantee you, if people continue to play this over months, that's something that they'll think about doing. But it really doesn't surprise me at this point that they haven't done that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, after the fall's doing it, right? Right out of the bat, they're doing it. So I mean, it can
Well,
definitely
yeah,
it can be done here. It just has to be
oh,
implemented.
for
That's
sure,
all.
for sure, for sure. Um, how's this stack up versus like Pavlov contractors, these sorts of games that we've had on Quest for a little while now? How does the Medal of Honor multiplayer compare to those?
I mean, I still think contractors is the king. I still think contractors is probably the best way to play any kind of multiplayer for this
Yep.
type of stuff. But
What does contractors have that makes it more compelling choice than the Medal of Honor?
well, I mean, if you're talking PC, then it's the downloadable maps and the player created maps. But even
Okay.
even the Quest version, it's just super easy. They have so many gameplay modes, and they have stuff. They have maps that you're just familiar with. The gunplay is a little bit better, I think, just because you're talking more modern guns instead of the World War II guns, which can be a little frustrating for some people. Um, but it's close. I mean, I like all these modes. I would definitely go back into this and play it. Um,
Would you say that it's a fair statement uh, to say that, a lot of people are critical of games when they start to get up around a $40 and $50 price point? I think what a lot of people aren't considering is that there's a $20 multiplayer game that's just kind of an extra on top of we're about to talk about, which is the Epic Length story campaign. I think that if people think about it in those terms, I think $40 kind of starts to look like a steal for this game.
yeah, the amount you're getting here with the multiplayer, like when I first heard they were going to move it over to the Quest, I was shocked. And then when they said they're going to bring over everything, I was even doubly shocked because there's a ton here. I mean, the campaign is 10 plus hours long, and then you've got all this multiplayer built into it as well. I mean, this for $40, this is a steal with this game. There's so much here, and again, really think these lobbies will stay full. I think it looks good, it plays good. I didn't have any problems playing it. There was no jank in the multiplayer at all. I didn't have any frame drops. Everything was smooth. There was no lag, so everything ran really, really well. I like the modes. There's like a bomb mode, a disarming bomb mode or a planting bomb mode. And it's got all the other, basic modes that you would see in multiplayer also. And again, the maps are cool. I played this one map. It was you're in the like a sub base where they build subs, submarines. So you're on and off submarines and in these little crevices and corners, and you're climbing ladders. There's different levels of the submarine. It was really cool. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So I didn't play it. I didn't play the competitive multiplayer mode. And there's a reason for that. Typically, and I do go into these types of games from time to time, and I have fun hanging out with my friends when I do. But competitive multiplayer typically isn't my bag. I'm more of a story driven, single player type of guy. And Roots, that was kind of the big drawing factor for me. And it was the whole reason that I wanted to give this game another chance. When I heard that it was coming to Oculus, when I heard that they were knocking the price down from 60 to 40. And by the way, we didn't get a review key for this, guys. We actually uh you guys provided this copy for us, and we did get it for about $29, which is a pretty good deal on a game like this, after the 30% off code. But Roots, the whole reason I wanted to try this again, because I know the potential for having a game like this from a AAA studio like this, and I knew that it was a nice, long, epic, story-driven campaign. So for me, that was my main motivation and my main interest in this game. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, the first time around with the PCVR was such a letdown with the multiplayer. I kind of automatically nixed it in my mind. I didn't even think about going in there, but I was also trying to go in there to see if this version was going to hold up comparably to the PCVR version. And in my opinion, I was very pleasantly surprised with everything. Not only the fact that I could skip certain things like the cutscenes. I didn't want to do the doctor thing. I said no, I'll just I'll just go in and do the options normal. I don't need to do the thumbs up and all that stuff. I've done it. But I
War
was
Plan 2, right?
yeah, exactly. I
Hmm.
was super impressed with the gunplay. I was impressed with the gameplay. There was no jank, and it was seamless. It was everything. That's what my whole takeaway was. Was it was everything we wanted in the first release. Price wise, it was had none of the weird victory and all that. Everything was seamlessly going. It felt
Mm.
like the game the way it was supposed to be. You went in and it started to tell the tale, and it was drawing you through. It's not weird like it was before, right? I don't want to go out and then have to select missions. Just take me to the next one. I don't know. I really enjoyed it so far of what I've played. I do think it'll be cool to go into multiplayer. Now, one thing that Daniel Kaz was saying, he's got a 64 gigabyte um, Quest, and saw a tweet. I think it was from Nathy, but maybe I'm wrong. That was saying that somebody confirmed they tried to put it on a 64 gigabyte and they couldn't do it because of the operator system. So I mean, you could literally wasn't going to work. Maybe I read that wrong or misremembering, but
They probably had some other stuff on there too, like cached data and pictures and other internet history. All that shit takes up space. I would suggest to anyone who's trying to put this on a 64 gigabyte version that they might want to do a factory reset and just do a clean install and then put this game on it first thing straight away.
yeah.
Um, but with this game, you're right. The gameplay was 1-to-1, and that wasn't really a big surprise to me. I expected it to play the same. We've played enough of these PC ports on Oculus Quest at this point to know that developers are very capable of reproducing the gameplay 1-to-1 on standalone VR. What was not so clear is how this game was going to look. And I got to admit, when I booted into the game and started into the opening cutscenes, I got scared. I got real scared because I obviously I was streaming it or casting it rather. I was casting it on the stream last night when I first went into it. But there was a lot of reprojection. There was just crazy aliasing, like it was very shimmery. Like some of the worst cases that I've seen, like on PlayStation VR, even it was that shimmery, and immediately, I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach, like, oh God, this is going to be disaster. But like you, I didn't want to do the doctor thing, so I skipped all of that and then went straight to the gun range. And then when I got to the gun range, things looked a lot better, like night and day better. Like it was unbelievable, um, the difference from one area to that. And then even it seemed like even as I got deeper and deeper into the game, that it looked better and better and better. And by the time I logged off and was done, um, I mean, it's one of the better looking games on Oculus Quest 2, which is saying a lot at the end of 2021, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure. For sure. We're a bunch of spoiled people. You should see all the people killing this game. I don't get it. We're so spoiled now with the Quest 2. It's like I mean, people saying how, this game looks like garbage. It looks like, PlayStation 2 game. It's amazing that people can say that nowadays. The fact that they actually even moved this game from the PC to the Quest is a marvel to me. And they moved it all the way over with everything that they had in the PC version with the multiplayer. Pretty much all the assets are there too. And the only thing I see maybe is that's different is you're lacking some of the textures, you're lacking some of the maybe some of the colors and the vibrancy, and you're lacking some of the smoothness. But a lot of the assets are there. Like I was amazed when you drive into that one town, and you're kind of driving into the French, town, and you see all that architecture, and you're in that square, and you can see all the cobblestones in the road. And I'm looking at it all, and there's cars in the road, and I'm like, this looks just like the PC version. And I'm like, okay, is this cutscene? Let me see. Is it all cutscene? Because I'm still riding on the back of a truck. Let me see what it looks like when I get off and I get out. I'm like in a bookstore or something. I walk to the window. Same. Looks exactly the same.
Yep.
We're so
Yeah.
spoiled. Spoiled.
Yeah, these games these days really amaze me what they're able to do on this mobile chipset. And again, we say it every week. We really haven't seen the full potential of the Quest 2 and the XR2 chipset, but I think we're starting to now. And I think that all of these naysayers from a year ago who said that this thing would never be powerful enough
I was one of
to
them.
run PC games, I think we're all starting to be proven wrong, right? I mean, if they can make this run, and from what I understand, they're not even using Space Warp on it. Like this is just legitimate, um, AAA wizardry. Putting enough man hours into it to make it work. I think going forward, this bodes very well for the Oculus Quest 2 platform and the prospects. I mean, Roots, do you remember? At first, PlayStation VR, all it pretty much had were games that were pretty much developed for it, and people kept talking about uh, the PC ports and if they were ever going to come. And then one year, I think it was 2018, all of a sudden the dam broke and all of these PC VR games came streaming into the library. And at that point in time, there were some great exclusives to back it up, and PlayStation VR was the place to be. Roots, I could very well see next year, maybe the year following, the same thing happening with the Oculus Quest 2 library.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's funny too is a lot of it, I don't think it was really you were wrong, Mash, or any of us were wrong per se, because we were looking at it differently. Because I saw people in the chat saying, oh, I think they could bring it over to Quest 1 like RE4, and I know. Like I think that's why it was that's why the developers were like, I don't know if we can do it, because they knew it was contingent on Meta allowing them to disconnect from Quest 1. And they didn't know at that time, are we going to be able to do it? And as soon as they were able to do it, then they could utilize that chip. Our entire first year, or most of the first year of the Quest 2 was all tainted by that bullshit, that Quest 1. And I'm sorry if you all own a Quest 1, it's awesome. But we want to have these games as good as they can be, right? And that's one of the best decisions Meta made with the Quest, is to actually say, fine, we're gonna decouple the two. And at least for the games that are like this, like Medal of Honor, that weren't going to play on the Quest 1, or they were going to play like shit on the Quest 1. Did you guys go into the options and turn up the video as well? Because there was two different settings.
Yeah, I did not. I read an article about it before I went in, and this game, and this is how I know it won't run on Quest 1. This game, they underclock I'm sorry, they undersample the resolution so that it'll run smoothly on Quest 2. This game runs at a lower internal resolution by default than most of the big blockbuster Quest 2 releases, but you do have an option to increase the resolution through the graphical settings in the game. And from what I read, it runs fine like that, although you do experience an occasional frame drop. But I did not try that, Roots. I assume that you did.
I did. And I found out that there was an occasional frame drop. So I didn't read the article, but I turned it back down. But this is the thing. I didn't go into the side quest, and I didn't tweak it. I didn't turn up the power. I mean, it's still undersampled in that respect, right? So you could turn that stuff up, and then you could probably turn it up and be fine. Just don't catch your Quest 2 on fire, because it probably will get pretty hot.
Eric, did you play with the graphics settings at all?
I did the same thing as Roots. I had it on originally, my first playthrough, and then I had a frame drop or two. I was recording, and I didn't want to, foobar my recording, so I said screw that, and I put it back down. And it would look fine. You didn't need it.
And you know what? No, it's not even that it looked fine, Eric. It was crazy, dude. Like, I turned it down, and I was like, "Fuck, why did I turn it on?" Because it looked so good already. It still looked good. I just turned it on because I saw the setting, and I'm like, "Oh shit, this isn't even on all the way up." But it was cool that they had a lot of different settings. Now, I made the mistake, and I don't know if this is one thing that this is normal. I turned my setting for my smooth turn all the way up for like speed, and then because I think was it this game that let you go all the way to 100, or was it the other one? I think it was this game. But when I turned it down, I was like, it didn't. I think it might have been the other game. Either way, it was really crazy. It was like I didn't even turn it down. It just was super fast.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the last game we're going to talk about.
Yeah, no, it was
because that was a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I think at the end of the day here, the moral of the story is that they have indeed corrected most of the issues with the game. And as I played my way through the early levels of the game, I noticed something that a lot of people said would be the case, and that is the further that you play, the less they interrupt with cutscenes, which was good.
Yep.
But at first, my whole thing was as fun as it is, and it's a lot of fun to play this game, the story mode. I wasn't sure that I was having more fun uh, than I had when I played Sniper Elite, which is one of my front runners for Game of the Year. I love Sniper Elite. But the deeper I played, I started to realize that this is a different game than Sniper Elite. And while it may be true that in terms of gameplay, Sniper Elite gets the edge, this game has more than that going on. This game has some very good storytelling aspects. And once all of the initial immersion breaking junk gets out of the way, um, you really start to appreciate that. And nothing really signifies that or shows that more than the fact that I played deeper into the Quest version, in spite of the fact that it's not as pretty as the PC version. I played this one more than I played it on PC. And that was because after a while, I started to get into the story that they were telling. Um, Roots, I don't know. I don't know which game overall I would consider to be a better game, Sniper Elite
Hmm.
or Medal of Honor. But I do think that if you like one, you'll probably like the other. And I think that's a pretty safe statement to make.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I definitely think that they're both worth playing, and I think that this, in my opinion, I'm enjoying this one. I think this is the better version of the game. At least the version that I played when it first came out, and it's cheaper on day one, so that makes it better for me.
Yeah, Radio Run said the same thing. He commented on my my video gameplay, gameplay I did. He said, "I already own the PC VR version. Do I need to buy this version?" I said, you know, I think you got to leave it up to how you want to play. If you like the multiplayer, I think you have to buy this version because nobody's playing the multiplayer in the PC version. And for me, the ease of use was like Wes said. I've already played um, more of this one than I did the PC version, and I had the Steam version day one. I just this one I'm just having more fun with. And again, the PC version is absolutely gorgeous, and not that this isn't. It's just different. But I don't know. It's just easier. You know what I mean? There's less to get into here. Hey, I can throw this on and jump in a mission for a half an hour and then get back out. And maybe you're not doing that with the PC.
Yeah, I don't know. That's going to vary on a case by case basis. I don't know if you're not interested in the multiplayer modes. I don't know that I could recommend to a Steam owner that they need to buy it again to have it on Quest. It just depends on how much you appreciate the convenience of not having to do the whole PC thing, right? But with that said, the really cool thing is for our viewing audience, the ones that like to stay up late and talk about VR games, at least one of them isn't going to have to make that decision. You know why? Roots. Eric, do you know why?
Why?
Because we're about to give a copy away to our lovely friends in chat here. Because we just want to say thanks. Thanks for staying up late. Thanks for talking about this. Maybe you're on the fence. Well, here's your chance. Here's your chance to save your $40 and get the game for free. So what do you want to do? You want to do Eric? What do you think? We should do trivia like normal.
Yeah, that's the best, right? We love trivia, and I love freaking Oprah. Look at her; she's so good. She's like, you get a key. You.
Well, actually, only
This
one
is
of you gets a key this time.
Yeah,
Sorry.
right.
yeah. We have one key. We have one key, and we thought about doing it in the comments like we typically do when we just have one. But then Roots said, you know what? These people who show up live, they deserve a reward every now and then. And I got to say, Roots, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's like these people are here. They're here now. Let's give it to them, and then we can see their smile. Well, we'll assume you have a smiling face. Otherwise, why the hell did you ask for the key? One thing I wanted to say before we do this, I saw Dark Angel say it, and this has been way back. She was confirming she also heard that even with a fresh install, it will not play on the 64 gig
Wow. Okay.
headset.
That's
And
a
so,
pretty big black eye, if you ask me. Like, you seriously gonna put out games that your base model won't hold? That's, I mean, I get it. I mean, if it comes down to um, not releasing a game at all and only doing it for certain people, um, you got to release the game. But man, I hope they're still optimizing, right?
yeah, well, maybe it's just a reason. If this is the thing, and I feel a little guilty saying this. Part of me is enjoying it, and I'm sorry for people that have 64 gigs, but all I heard for the first 6 months to a year was it's all you need. It's all you need. If you, it's all you need, man. You only need 64 gigs, bro. You don't need more than 64 gigs. And people like browbeat you for it. And at some point, and my thing was always the same. Why would you not future-proof yourself? You get to make this decision once. Do it. Unless it's going to keep you from getting it at all, then at that point, you have no choice. But if you can wait a little bit longer, why would you not future-proof? It sucks, but I have 50% of the sympathy I would normally have for other situations.
Go
So,
pick up all the cheap 64s that are for sale right now.
yeah.
There's people out there just selling them, right? To go buy the 128 or the 256. There's got to be $100 264 gigs going right now somewhere, right?
Radio Run
Wes,
says
you're always looking.
Radio Run saw it coming. That's the thing, man. Nobody looks ahead in the future. Says all I need today. Well, a year from now, you're gonna wish you had more. Why not just future proof?
And Chris Richardson joining us in chat. What's up? He says that's why they changed the base model to the 128
that's
gig.
true.
And that's
100%.
true. And
Very good
a
point.
lot of people were asking why. Why would they do that? Why would they, for no extra cost whatsoever, just arbitrarily up the amount of memory in their
Now we know.
base model? Well, now we know why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and this isn't going to be the last one, right? We're going to see more of these now. This is going to be coming, and maybe not the norm, but you're going to see titles. I mean, Lone Echo 2, or Lone Echo 2. How
Yeah.
big do you think they would be if we had to put these on the Quest? Do you think? I mean, I have a feeling that these could be coming, right? Why not?
Yeah, I think that it's a very good possibility that Asgard's Wrath is in production for the Oculus Quest 2. And this game, this experience that I had playing Medal of Honor on the Oculus Quest 2 really just opened my eyes up to the possibilities. And I think that there's a lot more of this coming down the road. And I look forward to checking all of them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So
anyway,
what's the trivia? That's the
so
trivia, right?
let's see here. I don't want to get too obvious with it and ask the same types of question every time, but then again, you don't want to make it too hard, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know who else likes it too hard, Wes?
I do.
Oh yeah, the more harder, the better.
Oh.
Let me think here. What would be a
Wolf Raza probably already said Baywatch, and the Abraham Strillis is already out there.
Yeah, for sure. Rob S says, "Too bad we won't get Stormland." That's a good point because a lot of people were, saying, maybe Edge of Nowhere would be a good one, but
Oh yeah,
Insomniac's gone, bro. That's a Sony studio now, so
PSVR
probably not
2,
going to get
Stormland 2.
Stormland. Yeah, it depends. If Oculus owns these IPs, they can outsource that work. I mean, they can outsource Stormland. They can outsource Edge of Nowhere. Do I see it happening? Probably not, but it could happen. My sister coming through with another $5 donation. Thank you, sis. She says,
"My mom."
Oh yeah, she does. Thank you, Ashley.
That probably is.
Really
That probably
appreciate
is.
it. You
That
rock.
probably is her mom. It is her mom.
for real.
It is for real.
Anyway, for a copy, an Oculus copy of Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, name the game's developer.
Oh, that's easy. Let me type it in. I don't own it.
Wait. Can we win? I don't think we. I think we can't win, right?
No.
I missed the shocker, Oprah. By the way.
Oh yeah. Forgot about her.
Is the Game Cat coming through with the answer? Respawn. That is correct. Respawn, the developer, Respawn Entertainment, the developer of Medal of Honor, Above and Beyond. Congratulations, Diz. Thanks for playing Radio Right and everyone else. Thank you, Onakazi. Yeah, just hit me up on the Discord, Diz. You know the drill. Hit me up after the show, bro, and we'll get your key out there to you. Congratulations and enjoy.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Congrats. You'll love it. It's fun, great game. Could be possibly up for game of the year for the Quest.
Yeah, and this is kind of the weird thing, man. Like, I suggested to you guys after the, or before we went on that it really doesn't matter what comes up between now and the end of the year. We really need to stop playing all these games and start to review some of the stuff that's come out this year because before you know it, we're gonna have to be picking winners. So as of right now, after the fall is really the one big one left on the radar. I'm sure others will come. But yeah, I think a Medal of Honor is certainly in the discussion for Oculus Quest Game of the Year. And the question is, do we do a Game of the Year next year that's Quest 2 Game of the Year versus Quest 1 Game of the Year? Because going forward, it's going to be like two different platforms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, the good
Yeah,
news
you're
is
right.
we're gonna get to play all these games again, all like and just have that conversation in our mind. Which one's better, Medal of Honor, Sniper Elite, right? That's exactly why we're doing what we're gonna be doing, right? Going back through these games. But we still gotta get the categories together. We still got to decide what those games are gonna be so people can vote on them. We got a lot of work ahead of us.
We'll be spending lots of time together, guys.
Absolutely, and we'll have a couple, more than one episode dedicated to that going forward. Not only categories but nominees as well. I guess we need to do categories first, right?
Hmm.
And I don't remember how we did it last year. I think that we review some of last year's categories and then give people a week to suggest
New ones.
new ones or even new names for the old ones. And then we have an official list of awards we're going to do, and then we let people nominate, right? And then we from there we put a show together. So that's what's coming up in the next few weeks. I guess we'll do. We will have the November game of the month, but that'll probably be the final game of the month episode of the year. Um, and then we're full blown 2021 show mode. I guess probably 2 more weeks before we drop our weekly format, and then just kind of go here and there as we see fit, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I mean, think about what you got to play. I mean, I need to get back into Lone Echo and finish that. Lone Echo 2. I need to finish Resident Evil 4. If I'm going to compare between Medal of Honor and Sniper Elite, which I can tell you guys right now, I'm probably 50-50 on which game is better.
Yeah, me too.
So I need to probably finish both those games, or at least put a significant amount of time into both of those games.
And I got to really grind on some Hitman, like for real. I got to
Oh
get into
yeah,
some
me
Hitman.
too, actually. And I'll tell you
Yeah,
what,
me
what we
too.
just heard from Eric is he's quitting his job and he's getting
Yes.
divorced and he's just going to go all in for VR because man, that's a lot of gaming, dude. And that's Hitman. I've only just barely scratched the surface in VR. So
Yeah.
that's a very intricate game, man. It's almost too much trying to figure
I
out,
might need-
everyone's
I
looking
might
at
need
me
a place.
weird.
I might need a place to stay.
Yeah.
Quit my job and getting divorced.
And by the way, it is a lot of work, but man, we have a fun 6 weeks ahead of us, guys. We have a fun 6 weeks ahead of us. So I'm looking forward to getting back into the best of 2021 because there was a lot of good games that came out this year.
Wolveraza says, "What the hell's wrong with you?" He's done with his second time on Sniper Elite, and he's on his third. I added the "What the hell's wrong with you?" But
Yeah, right. I wish, man. I wish. I played it. I played it on both. You got to remember though, because I've played it like maybe not quite halfway or just about halfway on two different versions. Because I played it. Excuse me. I played it on the PlayStation version. I played the Quest version and the PC version. So I was kind of all over the place with Sniper Elite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Game Awards, not the VR awards, but the Game Awards put out their list of VR Game of the Year nominees, and it was pretty close to what we've been saying, man. They had Hitman on there. The only one that they had that I didn't really agree with was they had I Expect You to Die Too, which is a great game. Don't get me wrong.
Agreed.
I just don't think it's Game of the Year. They had Sniper Elite on there. They had Lone Echo 2 and one more. What was it?
Resident Evil
Um,
4.
it may have been Resident Evil 4. I think it
Yeah,
was
that's what it was.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I Expect You to Die 2 just did not belong there with those other
Right.
games.
And people were flipping their shit like, "Where's Song in the Smoke?" I was like, I don't know, bro, bro. What? Maybe it's not Game of the Year. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
well,
see.
yeah, we'll see. Lamplighter throwing $5 Canadian. I guess they're called dollars, or what are they? What do we always say? I always wonder what is Canadians money called.
Yeah, it's dollars. It's
Okay,
dollars.
great stream, guys. As usual, I agree. Lamplighter, thank you for that donation. Really appreciate it.
Actually, American in the United States we have dollars. In Canada they have dollars.
Dual. Your wife just started RE4 today, Wes. Can you believe that? You knew that, I'm sure. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's she said she thinks she can get into it. I'm like, yeah,
Hell
yeah. It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Anyway, thank you, Lamplighter, for the $5 donation. We really appreciate it. He says, "Great stream, guys, as usual." Thank you. Thank you
Yep.
for recognizing that.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, two more great games to talk about before we sign off tonight. So why don't we move along to the next one? This one, another one. We did not receive a review key for this one. Again, um, uh, Eric, this was user donated money again this time, or was it out of pocket from you specifically?
Yeah, this was me. Virtual Strangers did the other one, did Medal of Honor, and I had some money set aside for this one. This was just kind of a surprise. That's why we didn't get this one. Nobody knew it was coming.
Right, right. And we did talk to the developer and we thanked them for responding to us. They really weren't expecting the uh the inundation that they received with requests to cover Resist when it was uh revealed what less than 2 weeks ago this game was revealed.
Yeah.
Um Kind of came from out of nowhere, and the binary meal always been known for doing solid stuff. But Roots, this game a bit of a departure for them, right? They never really have done this story-driven adventure style stuff before, and I got to say, a pretty respectable first entry from them, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know them for their racing game, right? That was what's the name of that one?
Mini Motor
Yeah,
Racing
Mini
X,
Motor Racing.
and
That was one of my favorite games. I really loved that game. I went into this game kind of expecting it to be good just from the preview or the trailer we saw, but I was not expecting it to be as good as I had think it is, as much fun as I've had in it. And it's all one of those things where you get to decide how good of a time you're going to have really. I think if you go with the basic controls, I don't think you would have as much fun as if you try to go with a really good with the other way, I guess. So
yeah, I went with the more intricate controls, and I forget what they called them now, but I did not go for the arcade layout. I went for the traditional or whatever. Eric, how did you play this game?
Yeah, I did the hand movement for the wrist movement to steer.
Right.
Not the head, because that would have drove me nuts. And then I used the non-arcade, so the more realistic, the one that said it would be more satisfying. That's the one I used.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the same here too. I use the wrist turning most of the time, uh, and I used it more the more practice I got. But I did lean on the stick turning a little bit for ultra sharp turns, and it's cool that it's kind of a hybrid that lets you use both. Although you do have to be mindful when you're using the sticks where your hands are, because at first before I got used to it, my thumbstick and my wrist wrist position were at odds with one another, and it just made for a mess. Ended up with me smacking into a building more than a few times. Um, but what we're describing here, these intricate locomotion controls, it's really the highlight of the game, in my opinion, because this is an open world, story driven game with RPG elements, light RPG elements. But in my opinion, um, all that stuff, the story, the missions, all of that is really just an excuse to get you back out on the streets and moving around because that's where the real fun is here. Roots, anything that I said just now that you disagree with?
Ah, no, except for I really did. They even said it in the story. I did find the window cleaning a little satisfying. I was kind of hoping there was like a mini game with that. But no, this is what like it was so the movement around that. Like I don't even know that I've gone that far into the game. I spent an hour just going around the city learning how to swing because I could tell that once you got it down, it was going to be amazing. And it was really rough at first. It's kind of hard to figure out exactly. It's all about where you're pointing that little blue arrow or whatever, wherever it's going, right? That's where you're going. And once I realized it didn't matter which building you were grabbing onto, for the most part, it's all about that thing. Because you're trying to grab onto specific buildings to get yourself propelled to go certain ways. It doesn't matter. If you grab onto another one and you just point that blue thing in the way you want to go, it's going to go that direction. With the exception of, it does kind of have a timing thing, right? It goes up and then you aren't able to grab onto the building until it comes down. So I thought that was kind of weird at first, but once you bring that in with was it the trigger? I think it was the trigger that allows you to now swing up and go, there's like it's so intricate that, like you said, once you get it down, it's like, oh my God, it's just really cool. And I could totally see what somebody in the Discord was saying. They see this whole thing being a good skeleton of how they would make Spider-Man in VR, right? Because it's really cool the way that they've made this game. So
I see a lot. I see a lot in this game that reminded me of the Spider-Man Far From Home mini game that we got last year. Eric, did you play Far From Home?
I didn't. I knew. I mean, I knew it was out there. I just never checked it out because I knew it wasn't really much of a game. But everybody told me it was really, really cool. But they wanted more. It just wasn't enough of what it was. But this definitely seems like Spider-Man to me.
Yeah, 100%, and a lot. This game reminded me of that Far From Home demo a lot, and there was a pretty decent amount of gameplay in it. And this seems like a proper expansion of that, and that's okay. You don't have to be Spider-Man to be Spider-Man, right? In VR, like it doesn't matter if you have that costume on, if you're doing similar things and you're fighting, giant fantastic enemies in this. Really, the only difference being you have guns instead of web shooters. But besides that, I mean, the gameplay is pretty identical. Spider-Man simulation. Um, a lot going on here, not only with the story, but with progression. I mean, the cool thing is there are mini games strewn throughout the city that you can complete, as well as your missions. And the more you fight enemies, the more mini games you complete, the more skill points that you unlock. And there are skill trees in this, like Borderlands style skill trees. Just for an example, there are many games that use this type of progression, but I kind of appreciated that aspect of it, that you get to customize your upgrades to your gameplay style. Because uh, after I'd played the game for a little while and I finally started to get the hang of the locomotion, I was able to kind of unlock that jetpack and then upgrade it a little bit. And at that point, everything just became ultra smooth for me. I no longer had any kind of issues moving around the town. Roots, did you get to mess around very much with the upgrade trees?
I mean, I did, not as much as I'd like to, but I did get the jetpack as well, and I thought it was really cool because it actually, it made it easy, like to stop in midair, right? If you're like needed to stop and then turn, and then it also, it was really cool. I really enjoyed the jetpack. I think it. I don't know that I upgraded it though. So
Yeah, I found that there were two levels to the map. There was this kind of like lower street level where there are a lot more buildings and stuff, and you know, you have to be super intricate with your turns. But then there's this kind of upper level to the city where only the taller buildings are up there, and it's a lot more of a wide open space. And sometimes I'll just like playing in that area, and that's what the jetpack's really good for. Other than you know stopping and making turns when you overshoot, you can use your jetpack to kind of keep you in the upper levels of the city. Uh, Eric, what do you think about the jetpack specifically, and then the progression system as a whole?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it, and I think Roots is right too with the movement. You should spend time if you're just getting in this game. Spend time in the beginning just moving around the city because it takes you a little bit to get used to the movement. But once you do and you get it down control, you feel like a complete badass. Like it's a little hard to master, but when you get it and you get that feeling and you start swinging and you like can start cutting in between these buildings, it just kind of clicks and it feels so good. But yeah, the jetpack, I love the jetpack to for a combat. I love the swinging so much that I really didn't use the jetpack much because I wanted to do the swinging. But when I was in combat, to be able to hover and shoot was just a great thing with the jetpack. And I love the double button press where you get to like shoot yourself way up in the air, like with a quick one. It's like you hit your A button or B button, whatever one it is, if you hit it twice, it'll give you a propelled shot, so you can either go forward really fast or you can go straight up in the air really fast. So the combination of using the two things between the grapple hooks and the jetpack were awesome, and it gives you so much more control once you get that jetpack. But you know me, you know what I upgraded? I upgraded my guns.
Right.
That's the only thing I upgraded.
Well, I leaned heavily into the jetpack, and I agree. It really is helpful, especially when you're fighting the you know the bosses and the bigger enemies. Roots I even got vibes of like playing Iron Man when I was specifically when I was using the jetpack to fight. Did you feel any of that?
yeah, yeah, actually, and somebody was saying a Boba Fett as well, like it's like a Spider-Man slash Boba Fett or Iron Man,
That's
absolutely.
good.
And then we've only kind of scratched the surface. I'm sure there's other things we haven't really tried. We haven't gotten too far, too deep, or at least I haven't gotten too deep into the trees, right? So who knows what else is out there?
That's true. And you know, kind of the one of the things I'm thinking, and before I get to that, let's talk about these mini games. Obviously, uh, I was a bit confused coming into the game because I knew that there were leaderboards, and this being a story-driven kind of RPG style game, typically you don't think about leaderboards being relevant in a game like this. But they absolutely are. The mini games are actually a pretty big part of the game. Um, Eric, do you see yourself coming back to this game after you finish the story content to chase leaderboards?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them. I didn't do all the mini games that are out there. So I mean, I did the jump one where you're like jumping from building to building and you got to land in a specific spot and it's a timed event. So I did that one and I did a couple of the other speed runs where you have to go through the hoops. But if they keep them more, if they're more varied and you get some, different things, I would definitely go back to them. I thought they were fun, and I love chasing leaderboards. So if people are doing it and people are doing, chasing leaderboards out there, then people will want to have the best score. So it's always fun to do that. So yeah, I would go back to it. I love open world stuff, man. That's why I'm so excited for San Andreas. That was one of the first games that I did that was open world where I completed every damn thing in that game. And so I love being able to do all these side missions, man.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty fun for a little bit. I don't know that I'll come back to it though, to just to chase leaderboards. I'll come back in from time to time just to play, you know, as a sandbox, which is saying something for me because I don't typically like sandbox style gameplay, but this game being so original and so fun just to move around, I could see myself coming back in that capacity and then maybe doing some of the mini games while I'm in here. But Roots really one of my really biggest takeaways from this game, knowing even though I haven't finished it yet, knowing that I'm probably pretty close to halfway through it, or maybe even a little bit more than halfway through it now. Um, I really hope this game gets some story DLC, right? Because I feel like they have a tremendous base to build on here. I feel like that they could drop $10 DLCs for this game for another year. If they do 3 or 4 of them, I think people will buy them just because the game's that fun to play. And much like the story as it is now is an excuse to get out there and move around and shoot your guns, I feel like really that's all they need to give us with the DLC is just a little bit more to keep us in there, keep us swinging around and shooting. Um, what do you think? Do you think the mini games are enough, or do you think that they need to be working on some DLC for this?
I think DLC would be amazing, even if we paid for it, like you said. But and maybe you guys would agree with me. But what would you think of DLC in the content of the leaderboards multiplayer style, doing those same mini games with a friend, right? Wouldn't that make it a little bit more
Or new
fun if
ones.
you were racing
Right.
against
Or
somebody?
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah. I mean, you could have it be like a to the top game. You know what I mean? Where you're racing to get up to a certain spot or get maneuver through the city. I mean, that would be super cool. But yeah, I mean, I would love more story too, though, right? I mean, what did you guys think of the story? I mean, I thought the story was pretty good. I mean,
It was
I
pretty
was
cool.
compelled,
Yeah,
I was compelled through the whole thing. So yeah, I mean, that was a lot more story.
Yeah.
yeah. You couldn't tell that this is a first offering of this kind from the binary meal. It seemed like a story. Voice acting and not just the voice acting, but like even like graphically. I think the flat footage of this game does it no justice as to what it looks like in the headset, and I felt like the story was quite immersive actually, and when it came into play, and yeah, I was actually quite impressed with the storytelling and voice acting in this, and I think Binary Meal should be proud of themselves. They've shown improvement as a studio, and their previous games were amazing. So I just see this as them um, showing a wider range of gameplay genres that they can now. Um, I mean, because all their old stuff was multiplayer stuff, right? This is the first story-driven single-player game that they put out, and I kind of feel like they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you guys think of the city? Did you not be honest? Did you try to kill somebody? Because
Oh, that's the
your
first thing I
your
did.
your bullets won't go. They go through everything, but you can land on top of a car and ride it around, right?
Oh
Which
yeah.
is so that's my only gripe. I wish I could interact with the things going on the city, right? Shoot cars, the people, but I guess that's at the end of the day, it's not GTA. So
Right.
and you're probably supposed to be a hero, not a villain, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the GTA dream, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we got it coming soon, man.
It reminds me of the
GTA.
city in the Matrix. Remember the city in the Matrix where they're like in the test city or the training city, and like it's just like faceless people walking through a crowd. Right?
Yeah, I was looking for the woman in the red dress. She's not there.
Oh yeah. Who doesn't
So
look at the woman in the dress?
you know who else is looking for the woman in the red dress?
My mom!
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah, it was a cool art style. Not the most detailed thing in the world, but their use of lighting in this really helped enhance the realism of it because you have all these windows everywhere reflecting light. You have these lit billboards and signs on all the buildings emitting different colored light. And I felt like that was probably the one biggest factor that really took the game to another level visually.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. I think it's good in all aspects. I think if anything, I mean, if there's any criticism of it at all, it's just the overall length of the game. But we have to remember, and this is really the last thing that we haven't talked about, was the price. This is a $20 game, and even as it stands, like I feel like this is kind of a $30 game that's underpriced. Um, what did you think about the pricing of this thing, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. I mean, 1999. I mean, releasing the same day as Captain Toonhead that came out for $24.99. So I was shocked when they came out at $19.99. That's kind of where I thought Toonhead should be, and this game, and
Reversed.
yeah, I'm just shocked with this whole game. I mean, again, another game we didn't know anything about. It just falls out of nowhere, and they did a great job. I mean, like I said, Binary Mill is not known for their depth of game. I mean, Gun Club is basically a shooting simulator, and the racing game is just a racing game. This is the
Bite your
first story
tongue.
game. Yeah, I know. But this is the first story, any kind of game with a story or any kind of substance to it, really, body as a story-driven game. Man, they just nailed it, and then to put a price tag on it of 19.99. I mean, this is to me, if you can handle the motion and the VR sickness in here, this is a must-buy game at 19.99.
Well, you're also up high too, right? You get that vertigo as you're
There you
falling,
go. Yeah,
swinging, falling around. It's really cool. It's a good game for that as well.
yeah, for sure.
Somebody needs to throw some money at these guys and give them an IP that's
Hell yeah,
recognizable. Let them
Spider-Man.
make a legitimate superhero game.
Let me ask you guys this: what are your thoughts on what was that PlayStation game, the shocking one, right? Infamous. Like that. I mean, this kind of game kind of shows you. I mean, all of these games are coming, man. We're like, I think we're a year away from seeing some of these huge IPs, probably even Spider-Man, on PlayStation 5 VR, which is crazy to think that we're going to be swinging around. I do lean more towards a up close third person Spider-Man, but I'll take it, you know. So.
Hell
You
yeah.
know, I've been calling for Infamous VR since day one in VR. Like, that's the ultimate to me, to be able to fly over buildings like you do in this game and rain down lightning on friggin' these supernatural enemies. I just think that would be so fun.
It's such a cool story too, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's a great game and a great franchise. I hope Sony revives it, and there are rumors that they are doing just that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, somebody in the chat was saying Crackdown too. Remember Crackdown? That was an amazing game too.
I don't know if I ever
So good.
tried Crackdown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
was like a
familiar.
city. Yeah, you were in a big city like this, and it was just really cool the way it played.
I need to get Crackdown now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Remaster.
You know who never you know who never puts the crack down?
My mom!
Oh yeah, she never does.
Nope.
Anyway, I don't think there's any nice things left that we could say about this game. It was a great surprise. It was as good as everyone said it was when we went into it and tried it, and this will be one that I'll definitely be finishing. And maybe in the game of the year discussion, what do you think about that, guys? You think that this could be the Oculus Quest game of the year?
I think it's really good. I don't think with RE4 and Medal of Honor and Sniper Elite. I mean, these are
Yeah.
all IPs that are well known, and so maybe well, I don't even know. Is this, I guess, an indie game of the year maybe, or is this indie? They're not really indie, are they?
Yeah. I mean, you could consider them an indie studio for sure.
Let me ask you this. Rob just asked a question that I was literally thinking about earlier when I was playing this game. What do you think the chances of getting Megaton Rainfall in the Quest? I forgot about that game until I was playing this today, and I was like, man, I need to go back to that game. That was a really cool game for making you feel like a superhero, right? And that story was actually really compelling.
I'm sure they could do it if they wanted to. I'm not sure that they will. I didn't really get it. I mean, I thought it was all right. I never really got into it all that much though.
Wow, I think it's worth revisiting. It was really cool, especially if you use the hands to opt to, like, there was a certain way you could fly that was a little bit more. I know Anthony complained about it, but I really enjoyed it. So it was cool.
Yeah. What about sickness? Do you guys have any motion sickness with this game?
I did not.
None.
No, and I don't get sick of Dying Light either. How about you,
No
Eric?
way. Hey, I can't say that. That's the only game that's ever gotten me sick.
No.
I had none here as well, but I know there's some people that were, that had some issues with it. But do you think this game would have come out like the way it is in the early days of, say, the
No.
Quest? Do you think Facebook would have been afraid of this game?
Everybody was afraid to let you even
You think
fucking walk, bro.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I mean. I
let
think
alone
we're
swing it
getting
around.
Yeah, you're right. And I think we're getting over that now, right? You think I think they're over the let's not put any game out there that might make somebody sick.
Yeah. Options. Give teleport to people.
Yeah.
There's enough games out now, right? That if somebody needs something a little bit more tame, they can pick up something that's a little bit more tame. That's what the review system's for. And I can say that we've got some good choices this Sunday when we get to the wish list review segment. We've got some good games to pick from for our next review.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to bring us to our final game that we played this week. A game, honestly, that we actually played a while back in a beta test, and we can't say a whole lot about the game as it stood back then, but there's still plenty to say about Warhammer Age of Sigmar Tempestfall as it exists today. This game was provided to us by our friends at Carbon Studios, so we'd like to thank them off the top. And it released today on Steam VR, exclusively on Steam VR. Although there is a Quest version in development, from my understanding. Um, we spent the top of the episode talking about Medal of Honor and talking about how nothing um, would really shock us now coming over from PC and showing up on the Quest. But Eric, when I hear that they're bringing this game into the Oculus Quest, even the Oculus Quest 2, uh, I really I don't know how they're going to be able to reproduce something that even looks remotely similar to the awe-inspiring, beautiful scenery in this game. Uh, this game is eye candy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And I know I can tell you they were extremely disappointed when they weren't able to launch the Quest version at the same time. They wanted to do both simultaneously the same day. They were working like crazy on it. And they just couldn't get it right. But I applaud them for saying, let's not put something out that's not ready. Let's wait and make it right. Because this game, I don't know how they're going to do it. I can't wait to see it. I'm sure they're going to do it because these guys know what they're doing. But I mean, this game is beautiful. It's one of the best looking games that I've seen on the PC. And the size and the scope of these set pieces will knock you out, man. I mean, there's a scene in the beginning where you're looking at these huge statues and one just kind of like starts to fall and crumble out of nowhere, and these things are gigantic huge, like the Lord of the Ring. You see those huge statues, like when they're floating down the river, you see those huge statues like this size, this scope, and you see it crumble out of nowhere, and you're like, holy crap, man. And that's what this whole game is to me. Is it's one of these holy crap moments, one after another. It's crazy.
Roots, it's probably a good thing that the Quest version didn't launch today, right? Because I got to imagine, just in comparison, even if it looks really good for a Quest game, like, you know, uh, you might not want it to launch side by side with something that is on this level visually.
No, yeah, I would definitely be in this version for sure. And I that moment Eric was talking about, I literally, something I think struck it or something, right? And it was so, like Derail says, the scale is so impressive. I'm watching this and I'm literally thinking, why are we not seeing this before? Like, I don't. It was such an epic, you know, it was like crazy. And it felt like it was a movie moment, right? And I hope we get to see more stuff like this in VR because I feel like a lot of developers, you get they don't deliver the cinematic like the movie cinematics. I don't know, not all of them. I guess they really nailed it. I was really impressed with the weapons, especially, and just how easy it was to spawn them in, grab them out, and use them, and the varieties. It was really cool.
Yeah, speaking of the weapons, what did you think about the progression system of the weapons, which I thought was cool? So you have to find items, materials around the maps to be able to upgrade your weapons, and you do so at a literal blacksmith's anvil. And you know, as satisfying as it is to actually do the upgrade, which has you taking a blacksmith's hammer and pounding out your weapon to upgrade it. What really impressed me was the different varieties and directions you could go. So you have three main weapons. Each weapon has a kind of like uh, a melee branch that you can upgrade, but they also have three different spell abilities, like magical abilities that you can choose your path and upgrade as well. So even though there's only three weapons, there's kind of a lot that you can do with them, and I was just super impressed with the the uh, the weapon progression system, we'll call it.
Yeah, there's even the magic stuff, like the weapons that you get to start with, right? Like you have certain magic things you can do by, I guess it's the bigger staff. You raise it over your head, and it does more like a chain lightning, right? And then the sword does a lunge type of thing. Like there, I thought it was kind of cool. And even if you don't want to have a weapon, you can just use your damn hand for magic. This thing's full of magic. I thought it was really cool. And the coolest thing I thought visually so far that I've seen is how cool does it look when those enemies get destroyed? The wraiths, the visuals, the particles, and they just disintegrate. I think really cool.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that that's really the bread and butter of this game. I think the visual effects, the sound effects, the animations, and even the storytelling. Eric, I felt like the the storytelling was on par with the production value here.
Yeah, it's got that feeling, right? It's got that like epic movie, type feeling to it. Even the music, the acting, the voice acting. It's just like on a grand scale. It's got that feeling to it that you're going to see like an amazing movie. And the amount of lore and the backstory that is here with this, I mean, they start kind of hitting on some points in it in the beginning just so you can learn things, and you'll learn more as you go to get some more backstory. But there's so much here that you can learn and you can see. And yeah, I mean, again, it's like triple A scale, story and visuals. It's really stunning. It really is.
Yeah, we first. I'm sorry. The first title, and I think it was the first title from Carbon Studios, the first one that's popping to my mind was The Wizards. And I didn't play a lot of The Wizards, but it was very much considered a good game. Good, not great. And then from there, they came out with a sequel, The Wizards Dark Times, which was very much in the same vein of the original Wizards, only you could tell that they've leveled up as a studio in their ability and the scope of the game. I feel like as much as they improved from the Wizards to Dark Times, they've done so even more here from the Dark Times to this. And it's very much, in terms of gameplay, the same type of game. It's melee weapons and magic. Only I feel like the scale is just off the charts in this game compared to those earlier two, even though they're basically doing the same thing. Roots, the main criticism that people have had that I've seen that maybe weren't over the moon about this game uh, was the gameplay, and I kind of don't disagree with anything that I've heard with regards to the gameplay. It's not very difficult, and it is just playing the Wizards Dark Times with melee weapons. Um, I don't think that you feel like a particular badass while you're fighting the enemies. Like, and I'm not a big Warhammer fan. Apparently, people say that if you're playing a Warhammer game, you're supposed to feel especially empowered. I don't particularly feel like that. I feel like the enemies were just kind of something that you had to deal with to get to the next bit of beautiful imagery and awesome storytelling. But with that said, even though I agree with all of those points that people are making, I think it's fun to play. I enjoyed the Wizards Dark Times, and I enjoyed playing this one as well. And I feel like uh, if you're letting the lack of challenge here kind of bring you down on this game, then you're kind of missing the point of this game. Am I off base?
No, it's not. I mean, not every game is supposed to be Dark Souls level, right? Like, so you have some games that are easier than others. Some games are more of a story, and they've got the gameplay, the fighting and the mechanics is more of like something extra on the way. I mean, I definitely don't feel like that is this. I feel like uh the gameplay, the fighting and everything is substantial. Maybe they want to. I mean, there's so many other games. If you want those games that are like super hard, there's a lot of games that are like that. I was just enjoying the story. And speaking of the narrator, like I thought it was kind of cool that there was like kind of felt like your character is saying stuff as you're going around doing stuff too, right? Which is kind of cool. It's not the
Yeah.
same as in every other game, right? So
Yeah, tremendous voice acting from all parties involved, including your brethren and as well as your character. Um, and I think that's kind of again kind of the value of this game is that production. The storytelling, the sights, the sounds. I mean, these are big, huge areas and gigantic, monolithic, breathtaking structures. um, but I did find that there is room for improvement uh, with the gameplay, but never at any point did I feel like I wanted to quit playing uh, just because it might be a little repetitive and easy. Um, Eric, what did you think about the gameplay? Did you think it was as repetitive and easy as I did, or did you find more of a challenge to it?
So, so what I'll say is this: I've been playing this game for a long time, so it's a little unfair for me to to say what I'm going to say, which is it gets a lot harder the farther you are into it, and a lot of people haven't had that chance yet, and it's unfair for me to say that they're wrong. I'm just going to say that they need to play it more because
Okay.
the reason you have these trees of leveling up your weapons is because you're going to need them later. You need to level these things up because it does get harder. Originally, when they made the game, they wanted you to be a badass in the beginning. Like all these skeletons that you can basically are like fodder. They wanted you to have that feeling in the beginning because you're coming into this as not like a novice, like a new. You're coming in as a leader of a team. You're coming in as a badass right out of the gate. You should be able to take one of these skeletons and rip their heads off right away. And they wanted you to feel that way. I don't know if it was the best decision for them because again, you have people playing the game that are only a few hours in or maybe an hour in and going, "Wow, this is kind of easy and kind of repetitive." Maybe they should have done a little bit more of a progression system in the beginning, made it a little bit harder. But I think this is just a decision they decided to do it this way. And if people put more time into it, it is deeper. It will get harder. There's different enemies as you go. There's more here. They just got to give it time.
Yeah, and that's a very fair thing to say. And at the top of the show, I've mentioned that there was one of these games that I absolutely feel like I needed more time in. This is the game I was talking about. And you know what? And it's not that I haven't played it very much because I did play test it. And luckily for me, when I went back into the game today, the full version, the new release version, it saved my progress from the
oh
play
wow.
test. Like I didn't have to start over again. It let me pick up where I left off, which I felt found super helpful.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm enjoying the story and just the overall production and the scenery and just the way everything looks and sounds so much that I kind of feel like I want to give the gameplay more time to come along.
Mm,
So what you're saying here absolutely lines up with the way I kind of felt about this. I'm glad that we make that distinction that these aren't reviews, that they are just first impressions because I feel like, especially in the case of a game like this, that I'm definitely going to get more time into it. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't come back to this game. Well, I mean, we're going to be coming back to it obviously in a couple of weeks when we do Game of the Month.
mm,
I'll have a much better idea about it then than I do now. But really, my whole thing that I wanted to say about this game, with regards to some of the things other people are saying about it, is if the gameplay is really that important to you, I think that you're just kind of missing the forest for the trees here because this game has a lot to offer outside of just the gameplay loop, which isn't bad. Which again, I found it to be an improvement over the Wizards Dark Times, which was a game I enjoyed playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Chris Richardson says he wants to know how it compares to Battle Sister. And granted, obviously they're two different games. Like
Very
Wolveraza
different
says,
games.
totally different games. But my question would be, and I'm not one to answer it, and I don't know if either one of you could. I guess it depends on your knowledge of Warhammer or being a fan of the series or whatever you want to call it. Like if a fan is like a super fan of this Warhammer series, which one do you think people would enjoy? I mean, they're clearly different, right? I know this one seems to have a little bit more depth in the story, but I haven't played the other one.
The other one's more of a shooter, right?
Right, but I mean,
It
as
is.
far as like a fan of the genre, the actual series, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what type of gameplay you're doing. If you're like a really big fan, would that people gravitate more towards this? Is this more accurate to the series, or do you guys even know?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the Age of Sigmar is part of Warhammer is like the newest part. Okay, so it's fairly new in the timeline. So basically, 40K or the Battle Sisters, all that stuff took place, thousands of years before the Age of Sigmar. So this is the new tree branching storyline that Warhammer has come to. I don't know anything about Warhammer other than the research I did for this game. I just know what Peter at Carbon has taught me about some of the backstory, and so I think if you're looking for the more traditional Warhammer story, maybe Battle Sisters. But if you're interested in the new path, which many people are, it's extremely popular. I would say that this one, I think this is the beefier, meatier game. If you're looking for gunplay, Battle Sisters is very good. It's a fun game, but again, it's there are swords. You do have like a battle sword in that game too, but it's not really a melee game. It's way more of a shooter, and it's more shallow. There's not a lot of story there. There's a little bit, but it's more about gunplay. This you're gonna have some story here. You're gonna have a lot of melee. The magic is amazing here. Carbon Studios knows how to do magic, guys. They just do it so well. Um, so yeah, I think this for me, I think this is if you're looking for more story and more meat, I think this is the game. If you're just looking for a shooter that's got good backdrops and in the Warhammer universe, I think Battle Sisters. You can't go wrong with either one. They're both great.
I can't speak for
If you,
story, but you know who else likes more meat?
My mom!
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
I think if you liked the gameplay in the Wizards Dark Times, that you're absolutely going to love this because it's an expansion on every level, including the gameplay. For all of its faults, the gameplay here is still more complex and deeper than the gameplay in Dark Times, and most people receive Dark Times pretty well, I think.
yeah, yeah. Dark
Yep.
Times was really good. I don't know. I
Really
think
good.
this game's. I guess we haven't talked about cost, and since we didn't buy it, I have no idea what is the cost on this game. I'm assuming $40.
I think 30 actually.
30?
Am
Oh
I
wow.
wrong?
Shit, guys, I don't
Give,
even know.
I'll check. Give me just a minute. I'll check. I think it's $30.
Oh,
it would be worth 30. I'd pay 30 for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Guarantee
Oh,
that.
easy. Yeah, it is. It's $30 on Steam.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'd pay. That's a definitely $30 game for sure. I was thinking even 40 maybe, but and Lamplighter saying tomorrow on Mash's on the QTC live show Thursday show, you're gonna have the developers from Toonhead, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're pick their brains a little bit, see how they came up with all that stuff, man.
Drugs,
Sharks with laser beams
drugs.
on their head, man. Yeah, really. The freaking weaponized flip flop, bro.
Um. Anyway, the other big major criticism that I've heard about this game from other reviewers is, as we mentioned at the top, bugginess. And Eric, um, we obviously we played the pre-release version of this, and that version, I will admit, was buggy, and that's to be expected. That's not uncommon for pre-release games, especially ones that really push the graphics envelope like this one does. Um, and to be honest, and I told you this when they announced the launch date for it, I was surprised that it was coming so soon. Because of that, like I was afraid that they weren't going to be able to clean it up, in that short amount of time since the last time I played. But I got to admit, man, they did it. I had absolutely zero issues with this game in terms of bugginess or performance issues. The thing just it played as good as it looked, and that to me, again, having played it before, was very surprising. Um, so that's again, that's kind of one of the things that gave it away to me when I heard these people say this. Like they're not playing the consumer version, right? They can't be.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember exactly when they announced it was coming too, because we almost talked right away, and you were like, "Geez, man, I don't know." Because we were both just in it not long before that, and it was definitely still buggy. And I think remember we both kind of said it's Carbon. We know they're going to come out with something good.
Right.
So I remember at the end of it talking about, it, we're like, yeah, it's Carbon. They'll take care
Yeah.
of it, and they did. And this is not one of those companies that we were talking about, those developers we were talking about that don't test, right? I mean, these guys test and then they test it again, and they test it again. I mean, I was literally in probably 4 rounds of testing for this game. So they had a lot of people. They were pulling people from their discords, and they had a lot of people in there giving feedback, and they
Mm.
were really good to their communities. And they gave away a lot of copies of the game to testers, and they took care of their people. And this is the way you do it. You take care of the people that help you, because if you had to pay somebody to do this testing, it would be a lot of money, right? And a lot of these
Yep.
people do this testing for free. And they take their time out of their game playing games that are you're looking for bugs. Sometimes it's not fun playing these games when you're trying to look for bugs. You know what I mean? You're not. It's not enjoyable when you know you're going to go in and have problems and jank. So to all those testers out there that help make this game, hats off to you guys.
Yeah.
Hats off to Carbon Studios too, by the way, because I mean they really polished this thing up in a big way in a pretty short amount of time, didn't they?
Yeah, it was quick. Like I said, it was literally they announced that it was coming in like a week or so, something like that, and we were like, "Wow, that's good." Hopefully they get everything done, and they did, man. And they're not a huge team either, right? I mean, they're not like this some
No,
super studio. I think they're probably I don't know if they're considered an indie dev anymore, but it's not like they're EA or something like that. You know what I mean? Or even Resolution Games. I mean, they're a medium sized dev team, and I think they've done amazing work.
they've got that Polish magic going on. Those Polish VR developers are gifted, man,
It's crazy. There's something in the water over there.
Yeah.
for sure. Roots, did you encounter any kind of bugginess or performance issues when playing this game?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I thought it'd be a good idea to turn my speed. I was shocked because like I started turning the speed for the smooth turn, and it started at like 0, and it went all the way to 100, and I thought, oh my god, like I gotta see how fast this is, and it was like super fast, right? And so then when I went to turn it down, no matter, I went all the way to 0, and it was like not as fast as the super fast, but it was fast. It was like so fast that I would have to kind of tap it to get
Mhm.
myself, but I broke it, I think, and I was like, I didn't have
You know
time.
what?
You didn't break it.
You know what? I didn't remember it until you just said that, but uh and I hope they don't get mad at me for saying this, but as a playtester, I had this very same issue. I had to stop the game and come back into it to get it to act right. But yeah, I had the same thing where it just was the like who in the world would ever need their turning to be that fast? It's like uh it was like I don't know, like you might go back to 1955 if you don't let off of it quickly
No,
enough, you
it's
know?
it's it's too fast. It was literally like a blur. You can't see what's happening fast. So much so that, but I had to see if it was there, and I didn't think it was going to break anything. Um, but I mean, that's aside from that, I really this is the biggest thing, and I don't like melee games where you're blocking and all this other stuff, and I don't think it's a problem with a bug, but I didn't like, like the games prevent you from waggling, right? Or wagging your things around instead of
Yeah.
to hit. And so like there was a way when I would go to hit, if I don't know what was going on, if they were had done something first, or if I didn't wait enough time, it was like I could be hitting, and it doesn't do shit, and I'm watching them, my opportunity to hit them disappear, and then now it's all restarted again, and now I have to redo it again. And if you do that 2 or 3 times in a row, that could be very frustrating. But I don't know if that's necessarily me just needing to figure out the, hit differently. But it felt awkward.
Yeah,
So
there's certainly a rhythm to the counterattack. There's certain enemies that that you'll have more success with if you counterattack. So yeah, I kind of get where you might have had some issue there, for sure. Eric, what did you think about this aspect of the game?
Yeah, it's a parry system, right? That's how they get rid of the waggle is they make you do a parry system. So if you don't parry it right, where you knock them back, and it's not just that you block with your sword, you have to hit their sword with enough force that you knock their sword back to parry it. Otherwise, you can't attack them. So I think that's like Root said, that's their way to get rid of people just waving their hand as fast as they can.
I found a way
So
around it though. I just
did you?
used I used my big stick, and then I would whack them, and then I would jump back, and then they would swing, and then I would jump forward again, and so I found a way to do it.
Yeah.
So.
You know who else likes to whack the big stick?
My mom!
Oh yeah, and Tasselhoff says, you know who else hates performance issues?
My
Oh
mom!
yes,
She's so needy.
yes, yes.
One of the big differences between this game and the Wizards of Dark Times is they do try to implement some kind of a physics basis to the gameplay here. Not only the combat but the world around you. And I felt like in parts, in certain areas, they did a tremendous job. Like when you're opening up the tombs in the crypt and pulling these big stone things open, or when you're opening up these gigantic 30-foot tall wooden doors, all very heavy. The parrying felt okay as well. Um, but I didn't feel like the physics were applied consistently throughout the game because there were certain things that your hands would pass through, or like if you try to clank your weapons together or on certain things, they would pass through. Um, eh, Eric, did you find the inconsistency here any immersion breaking at all?
Yeah, this is where I thought they missed a little bit was the hands. Like I hate so what they do is when you grab something that you see like an outline, like a blue outline of your hands, and then when you're trying to pull something, you get these like rubber hands, like they stretch right and away from you, and it just looks weird. And I don't know if there's a different way they could have done it. It doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. And I think they're trying to give weight to items, to doors or to these crypts. But yeah, I
They
mean,
would have had to. They would have had to lock your locomotion to your hands.
right.
Very easy way to do that, right? Because what you're talking about is, you know, they're they're not using full body IK here. You just have floating hands, and whenever you're trying to pull a door open or open up some kind of a mechanism, you have some of these things are really big and heavy, like we mentioned, and you have to use both hands. So what you do is you grab it and you back away to pull it open. But instead of kind of locking your body to your hands and putting that physics force on your entire body. They just put it on your hands and they allow you to kind of back away. And while it does slow your movement a little bit and doesn't let you like back all the way across the room, you're right. They could have tightened that up a little bit, and I feel like they probably will. That's a pretty easy fix for them to shore that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I think that's it, man. Overall, my experience was positive. Again, these are first impressions, and as much as I enjoyed all of these games, I kind of feel like this is the one that I'll be revisiting the soonest because I feel like this one has so much more upside. Um, let me be clear about that. With Medal of Honor, I'm talking about the Quest version. But versus that Quest game or Resist, which I loved, I probably had the most fun in Resist, but I feel like start to finish, that 5 hour campaign versus this 10, 8, 10, 12 hour highly produced campaign. I feel like there's more potential upside with this one. And for that reason, I feel like I'll be revisiting Warhammer, if not tonight, probably tomorrow.
Cool. I
Yeah,
think I
for
think I
sure.
would go more into resist. I gotta see where this thing leads. I haven't gotten
Yeah.
as far as you have.
We're spoiled. We're extremely spoiled right now. We just have
Yeah.
good game after good game. I mean, when you got to figure when you're trying to like, all right, what do I go play? Do I go finish Resident Evil 4? Do I go into Warhammer? Do I go
Lone
back to
Echo 2,
Resist?
Lone Echo 2, Hitman 3,
I know.
Sniper Elite.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a fun 6 weeks, guys. It's
Oh
going to be
yeah.
a fun 6 weeks.
Yep.
Plus, I'm going to go back into like, stuff like Swarm and Crashland and all those stuff from the earlier part of the year.
Yuki.
That
Yuki.
yeah, sure,
You ever played it?
for sure you can.
I've never
You can
heard of
just
it.
hit PlayStation.
I know, and they just got their endless mode too.
Yep.
I
Is
love
it aim controller? No,
That would be cool.
that'd be cool, right?
That would be cool.
Be weird, but cool.
Anyway, were there any of the games that we covered today that you guys would not recommend at the given price point?
No, I think everybody nailed their price points, man. I think I think every one of them, I expected them to be more. You know?
Right. They're all kind of underpriced for what you get, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think especially Medal of Honor, man. Medal of Honor, you're getting now all the campaign, 10+ hours in the campaign, and then you're getting all the multiplayer too. I mean, it's amazing.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel like Resist
Yeah.
is kind of the most underpriced of the three. $20 at the end of 2021 is not a lot of money. And I felt like for the quality you get and the originality of that game, I kind of feel like out of the three, that one's probably that most heavily underpriced one. Like that one should be $30. I feel like Sigmar should probably be $40, and Medal of Honor $50. I think. I don't think it's a $60 game. I think
No.
$50 probably be a good price for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And you know what you had dropped this week too, guys, was Secrets of Metropolis. It was a quirky little game. Just
Yeah.
came out of App Lab, dude. Another success story. Out of App Lab onto the main store.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
check out a cool little puzzle game. That thing's a blast. That's a
If
lot.
it were any other point in time, I would say let's do it. But
I know, right? There's no time. Well, here's
yeah.
here's a good thing though. Well, the only downside of the game, it's extremely short. You can beat it in probably an hour, maybe 2 hours.
Well, maybe we should do it then.
Yeah, I mean, literally,
Maybe
you could Wes, you could stream it one night and beat it, and then go play something else.
That's
I
true.
also got a key today for an interactive experience that's hitting Steam tomorrow. That looks really cool. It's a science fiction thing.
Oh,
It's from the same distributors, not the developers, but the same publishers that gave us Madrid Noir and Gloomy Eyes. Um, and it's got some recognizable voice talent in it. Looks like it could be cool.
cool.
And again, something we could cover, and it wouldn't take us much time to go through it.
Yeah, sounds good.
So maybe we do that, do Retropolis, and we can wrap up the week's new stuff in less than 2 hours and have time to play Warhammer or whatever the hell else we want to get back into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. With that said, I think it's going to wrap up this week's show. I want to thank everyone in the chat who hung out and stuck it out with us till what is it? It's almost 2 a.m. Thanks for hanging out. You guys are awesome. As always, I want to say congratulations again to Diz for winning that copy of Medal of Honor. We'll have your key to you in just a few minutes. If you like the video, guys, you know what to do. Click the stuff, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that big red button and ring the bell. Ringing the bell is important because we're bringing lots of new content, lots of fresh stuff. Got more stuff boiling, behind the scenes that we're going to be serving you guys up throughout the rest of this year and into the next. It's a good time. It's a good time to be in our community, and I'm so happy with the state of things as they are right now. You guys as pumped for the future as I am?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would submit the bell. The bell is all about live. Like if Wes goes live, you're not going to know until the next day when oh shit, Wes was live last night. If you have that bell checked, it's going to notify you immediately that something just went live, right, or was posted. So
We got D-Real joining us in chat. I'd be interested to know your thoughts on the Age of Sigmar Tempestfall, D-Real, as you are kind of our resident Warhammer guy.
he,
I'd like to.
he did say
I'd
that
like to hear.
the scale was epic for the game.
It was, dude. That was the first thing that really strikes you in this game, is there are these big gilded, temples that are hundreds of feet tall and just shiny, right? Shiny gold, and it looks real.
Yeah,
Uh, so beautiful, this game.
yeah, for sure.
Anyway, if you guys have been longtime subscribers, you want to do a little something extra, of course, you can support us on Patreon, where as little as $3 per month, per week, no, per month, will get you access to our weekly show notes, to exclusive content, to insider updates, less than $1 per week, and you get the peace of mind of knowing that you did your part in building up what is sure to be the top VR podcast in the world within 2 years. So you guys find the link in the description down below, Virtual Strangers Patreon. Thank you to everyone who is made the pledge to make monthly donations so far, and thanks to everyone who donates by other means. You guys are the best.
Best kept secret on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
I came in right at the right time, guys.
Hey, you completed. You complete me, Eric. You completed the podcast, bro.
Yeah,
I love
you get a benefit from our years of fucking shit up and learning how to do things right. We kind of can teach you now the way.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Yep.
I know.
And the
This is
way will
the
take
way.
you the way will take you right through the front door of the Virtual Strangers Discord, where you will find an invitation down below in the description to our home. This is where we live. This is where we talk VR and talk life. Yeah, man, this is where we hang out and talk 24/7 pretty much. Virtual Strangers Discord. It is home to the hardcore VR gaming enthusiast. Make it your home by clicking the invitation down below.
Lamplighter's throwing up for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe he just got out of spinning. He was spinning in when he was playing
Yeah.
some Resist.
Yeah, you got to turn that head-based locomotion off, bro.
He did get a little sick in there.
Yeah.
He did.
Anyway, with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all for watching. For my friends Eric and Roots here, I'm Wes. We will see you in a couple days. Good night.
Take it easy.
See you later.
I almost was going to click stop. Slap your hand, Roots. Wow, I just said, like Wes said, it's just a new system, so like it's just getting into the routine. Yeah, if you just put it in there, yeah, because it's just because I go down there and I put everything in order, and so if it's on there, I won't miss it for sure. Not that it's that's the reason. It's just I've fully spaced it. What? Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody?